Welcome, everybody. This is a new world today. Well,
thank you, Greg.
This is so different for me now. I'm beginning something brand new. Dina, oh my goodness, I spoke to her today. My Dina.
She says you're even more gorgeous in person than you are even right now.
Okay, I can't wait. Okay, how do I begin? It's a huge decision that I decided on. We're all changing because the world changed. The rug was pulled from under our feet. Suddenly, the pandemic came and we couldn't go out and we couldn't have people come in. And above all, I couldn't be outside. But that had really ended before, when I had a stroke and fell, and my kids said, "Mom, please don't ever drive again." And I couldn't go to the city, and I had to work from photographs. And I didn't like it. Can you all hear me well?
They all can hear you.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized how much I missed the world, which I lost when I stopped sitting on the sidewalks in New York. And Kenny and I did some serious talking and about answers and questions. And we came up with a whole series of things that I want to first of all read to you.
That you came up with, that you said.
I came up?
These were all your ideas.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, good. But you frowned if anything didn't sound right. So these are with Kenny's unspoken approval.
Some edits.
Okay.
But let me just tell you, Tammy is here, and Susan LaRosa is here.
Oh my goodness, I've missed Susan. Okay. And Tammy, this whole program has a lot to do with you and Tracy. Okay. Here's what I said that Kenny wrote. We've always lived with answers, but they were always our answers. I left art school to paint in the streets, in the dirty streets. It was such hard work. I should have stayed in art school and had so much of an easier life, but something pulled me into learning how other people lived. And I found that in the streets of New York City. It was like a magnetic pull. Tammy and Tracy, remember when you spoke and changed the way I saw the world? When you said the universe knows what we should do, and it pulls us in the strangest ways to meet the people we need to meet and live the life that I'm supposed to live. This was like a magnetic pull. And we all have our own magnetic pulls, but they don't fit into other people's answers. And I am learning to listen and not to give advice, because my advice might be exactly what the magnetic pull to them says, don't go. As a parent and as a grandparent, this has been very difficult to learn. Our loved ones have their own pulls, and they don't fit into our answers. We have to give up our answers to really hear their answers and honor their own magnetic pull, even if it didn't make sense for our frame of references. And I thought to myself, I miss having an audience. When I sit and I work in the day, there's no audience. In the street, there were always people, and they would come day after day to see how the work progressed. And I decided, I have Facebook. And all of you who are watching now from all over the world, I have to tell you, I have people from all over the world now as Kent from Sweden knows, who even traveled here. And Kinha, who came here. And that took so much manipulating until we managed it. He's here. Right? Let me do this. Let me tell you the solution we have. You are going to be my street audience. Because people used to come by and say, what did you work on? Which face? What did you do? And they could watch me until the face really looked like a face, which the average painting took a year. And this is the same story. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to figure on the threads that pull us together. Again, Tammy and Tracy, this I learned from you. The threads are like the back of a needlepoint. In front, they make a picture. In back, they're a mess. It's still a mess. So, let me begin. No, before anything, I just want to show you this. Well, I haven't been working lately, but the movie, the one that John, and here's John, unfinished John Terracoso. The movie is so fabulous that I found out I'm making history with this painting. I'm going to, when it's finished, present the world with the history of people who only do kind things, because that's what this painting is about. So anyway, here's John, here's his partner, Wendell, and here is the wonderful nephew who has more sophisticated equipment and has been helping John. Those, and then down here, what is that noise?
I don't know. It's okay.
It's a machine.
Yes, of some sort, yes.
Everybody ignored.
Do you want me to go check what it is?
What?
Do you want me to go check what it is?
I have no idea. You want to find out?
Okay.
It's probably...
You keep speaking. I'm just going to set this up.
This is the amazing thing about the world nowadays. Things make noise. And Kenny, somebody might be calling me, and that person could be having that machine. Kenny could be outside.
Someone was leaving you a Facebook voice message. All done. All done.
That's exciting. Okay, let me go back. I wanted to begin telling the story of how I met the most wonderful group of people who pretty much dictated what the painting would become. When Kenny decided that he would go to college in New Paltz, the threads that I'm going to speak about now began with Kenny saying, I'm going to New Paltz. Now, all these people are not finished, but as the year goes by, I think whenever I begin a session, I'll show you the ones that I spoke about the day before, the Monday before. Okay. So, he met Paula. Paula is the one with the hat. And he met Eileen. She makes movies. She made a wonderful movie, by the way. Okay? And then through them, I met Eddie.
Can you point again?
Okay? Kenny, You might want to go near the faces because for one reason, I'm going to, every time I work on a face, I will show it the next week. That doesn't mean it'll be finished, because sometimes it takes 10 to 20 layers before I get it right. Because when the paint is wet over here, but dry over here, I can only work on the dry over here, and that could be a corner of the cheek. But I'm used to that. Now I have an audience in my street. Okay, here's Eddie. All of them are unfinished. Here's Paula. Here's Eileen. And from them, I was once painting in New York. Now you know that story. And this man, Kent, came from Sweden with his girlfriend, who is now his wife, who is, Kenny, can you zero in here? Okay? And I decided, this is such a wonderful family, and he's a great photographer. So I could have him take great photographs of his family. And these are his children. His daughter, his son, all unfinished. Make sure they see how ugly an unfinished face can be, because they're extremely good looking. Okay? Now this is Lars, who, as Kent says, loves to wear sunglasses. But I didn't want to put them on his face because I didn't want to lose the face. So they're hanging there. Okay? Now, okay, let's go to the next. Susan La Rosa, who called before, who is here, she's in another painting. She's in the painting which is hanging in the, it's of Long Beach, and it's hanging in City Hall. I don't know where, because I gave it to them during the pandemic, and they wanted to make a whole big occasion, but of course they couldn't during the pandemic. So eventually we'll see it. It is on my website. So any of you wanted to look on the website, it's number 91, I think. Whatever it is, let me keep going, because this is fun. This lady is going to go down in history because she's so efficient and wonderful and bright. As a matter of fact, the local newspaper, the Herald, gave a front page about how great she is. The Woman of the Year. And she is. And I spoke to her and I said, Johanna, and eventually she will deal with this. You see, Eric was very grateful for Long Beach because it's a wonderful city. And when we started to, when he said, Hetty, we won't sell any more paintings because they're an incredible record of our period of time. So now that we've made and succeeded and sold so many prints, let's do more and give them to charity and give them to the city of Long Beach. And so this painting, when it's finished, the proceeds will go. I don't think we're giving them the painting because I promised Kenny I would do what Eric wanted, that my artwork is not sold or given to anybody and my children will make the final decision when I'm not around of what to do with them. And I intend to stay around a very long time. Not only that, but I'm going to take a good body with me. I exercise and I do everything so that I can be great. Okay, let's go back. Let me come. Let me leave this at the moment and let me go to these two people. I think I spoke about them already, that they're the reason I'm on Facebook. If I did speak about them, it was last week, but let me say it just once more. Pat said to my daughter, Mom should go on Facebook. And I said, no. I don't want to deal with people I don't know. I know so many people and love so many people. I can't add strangers. And I was wrong, because none of you are strangers. Today Dina called me. Now, Dina can we go to her even though she's not finished? And that's Jeff. And they are incredible photographers. They traveled and did things, and we spoke about time, that there's never enough time, because I don't have enough time. And I said something about there's always time to do what we want to do, but we can't afford to waste it. And she liked that and sent it to me on email. And I like the idea of comments on email, because it's hard for me to get on the phone and I don't have enough time in my life. I do have time to eat and sleep and exercise. But I made a ruling that I have to learn to speak about what I need. And this lady with the tennis racket, Linda, how did I meet her? Because Hernan, who is right here, when they said to her, you'd be real great to meet Hetty, because the two of you would fit. Why don't you just walk over to her? She doesn't live far away. And one day she came, and that was it. And when I spoke to her and I said, I can't go bird watching for a while, I can't leave the house because I need to keep working on this painting. You can come and visit me, which I would love, but I can't leave the house. I can't do the things that I love doing because there isn't enough time. As you can notice, what I work on in this painting is to get the rhythm. Because Kenny said to me over and over, Mom, stop making people standing up straight. That's not how people stand. And I would say, but Kenny, they're paying to be in this. And they want all of them showing. And he said, but it doesn't work. That's not how people are. So since in this painting, nobody is paying, I can make a beautiful rhythm. Right? we have a city manager who unfortunately decided she needed to stop. And this is a photograph they sent me. And she's sort of the center of my painting, because for me, a city manager, not to be a white man with a suit and a beard and a nice tie, but to be a woman who sends the dungarees with holes in them and a t-shirt and sneakers, shows that we're living in a different world, where I don't have to sit on the street corner to paint you, where you can come here and pose for me with a photograph. And I'd like to talk a little bit about photography. I did not understand Hernan and Eddie and Maydina. I did not understand how a camera has life. And then when John sent me a wish list, shall I stop for a minute?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, can you point at John again?
Oh, sure,
okay.
sorry.
When he sent me a wish list for his film of photographs that he needs, I went through boxes and photo albums, and I suddenly realized this is as much of a miracle as the James Webb telescope. Somebody looked at a human being, flesh and blood human being, and figured out something exists in the atmosphere and the sun and the sky and the unknown, and created a machine that took my life and put it into little boxes. And when I sent those photos, I thought, what miracles do I take for granted? And I began to see miracles wherever I went. When my fingers can go like this, but only because I exercise them. Otherwise, at 93, they would be stiff. And I pick up things on the floor. It's a miracle. But if we don't see it, then we don't own it. Okay? And my first knowledge of a miracle was after I had broken my right hip and my right shoulder, and I was in rehab. And if you've heard this story before, you'll keep on hearing it, because to me that was the beginning of seeing miracles. And I had had terrible nightmares of never being able to walk again and never being able to draw again or write again. And we were having breakfast and these long tables, and something was different about the morning. And I took my hand and I reached over to another table, and there was paper and a pen there, or a pencil, and I put it over to me, and I wrote my name, not Hetty Page, but Hetty Pagramansky, with all the curlicues on the A and so on. And I said thank you to the universe And I realized we don't say thank you enough. There are all these miracles, and we don't say thank you. And I told Kenny, and he said, are you going to begin to say thank you? Can you make a habit of it? And now I do. And I thank you all for being my audience, because what we're going to do next week, some of you could do this by email. Mail me who you want to zero in on. Because when I sit on the street and work, people come and tell me, are you putting this in? Did you put that in? Will you do this? And I miss it.
Should we ask for that right now? I will pan the painting, and if anybody is wondering about anything or has any questions or wants to see something filled in this week.
Yes.
Okay, I'm just going to pan the
painting. And also, I didn't hear any comments yet.
Oh, yes, I'll read you the comments. Okay, I'll read you the comments while I'm panning the painting. And
yes.
If anybody wants to ask any questions or say what you would like to see Hetty work on this week, do that. Sandy sends her love. Susan says, I miss you too, Hetty. John Taracuso says, hi, Hetty. Hi, Ken. Hugs from California. And Julie is watching. And Sandy says, hi, we love you, Aunt Hetty, from Sunday and Ishmael. Amy Lauren is watching. Lauren Roth is watching. And Sandy says, hi, Ken. Love you. Love you too, Sandy. And Dina says, as you paint, you are performing, sharing your talents with the world, so that we are your fans and the ones who benefit from your incredible talents. And Marcia Goldstein-Graber is watching. And Amy Lauren says, it's astonishing to me, Hetty, how you capture an actual likeness of a person's face on a space the size of a thumbprint. And Dory is watching. Sandy says, you are great, Aunt Hetty. And Marcia says, yay, happy to hear you're going to stay around for a long time. And Dina says, happy birthday to Joni tomorrow. Yes. And Julie says, yes, happy early birthday, Joni. And Dina says, Hetty's sayings. You have plenty of time, but never time to waste. The universe knows who needs to be together and puts them together. And Tammy says, I love how you are sharing your time with all of us. And Neela Jacobson Boudet says, late but here. Thank you, Hetty.
Neela's going to be here.
Ah. Great. And Julie says, such welcome reminders about the need to be grateful. So easy to take our blessings for granted. And so if people want to send any emails to Hetty about what you'd like her to work on this week or any questions about the painting, just put them on Facebook or send her an email.
I'm supposed to say goodbye. My street audience, that's who you are. Even though I'm great comfort. And just think a minute. What is the main ingredient for doing great work? It is not talent. Everybody has talents. It's being a worker. Without failing and doing again, and failing and do it again, which is work. Didn't they say Rome wasn't built in a day? So I'll say goodbye. I can't wait for next Monday. Bye-bye.
And Julie says, love you guys. And Lauren Ruff says, tenacity.
Yes, tenacity. Thank you.